Hello, my name is Jackson Archer. Thank you very much for coming back to another episode of My Family Watches Loki for the first time. I'm very excited to watch episode 2. Episode 1 was really good. Amazing Tom Hiddleston performance as always. But I'm really excited to see Owen Wilson again in episode 2 and see his evolving relationship with Loki. Also, I was roasted a bit in the few comments that I get in my videos about the fact of the stained glass window scene and how Jake and I both pointed out that, oh, it looks like Mephisto and he's being called the devil. Apparently everybody is correcting us in the fact that Mobius is talking about it's another Loki variant, calling him the devil as a nickname. Yes, it makes sense that this devil character, the variant that they're hunting, is just a different Loki. Maybe it's a female Loki, maybe it's another Loki that looks like Tom Hiddleston, maybe it's a Loki that we've never seen before. So we'll have to watch and see. One other interesting thing before I hand it off to Jake, I read a post earlier a couple days ago that said the reason that the Infinity Stones are powerless within the TVA is that the TVA exists outside of the multiverse that the stones were created within. So the stones hold no power there. The power that they have within the universe that they come from doesn't exist in the TVA. So I thought that was interesting on why the stones are useless there. So maybe the TVA's time jumping abilities really isn't the ultimate power in the universe, it's just the ultimate power for the TVA and wherever it is that they exist. So very interesting, and I can't wait to watch more. Alright, so Jake had his wisdom teeth taken out the day after Loki last week. So he's still a little bit sore from that, so he might not be doing too much talking today, but we'll see if he has anything to say right now before we start.
Excited for this episode. I saw this post of Doctor Strange saying, I looked forward in time and saw 14 million possible outcomes to come in conflict. How many did we win? Well, we won a lot actually, but some MFs named the TVA kept fixing shit. So now we only have one future. I saw a really interesting theory that Mobius is a villain, Mephisto or not. I think that's a really cool theory because that explains why he doesn't want to kill Loki, because it seems like everyone in TVA is okay with him being killed because that's their job. But I think it'd be a cool twist if Mobius was evil and that's why he wants Loki alive. So I think that'd be a really nice twist. And I think the variant Loki or whatever that was at the end of the last one is probably just like Lady Loki or just a different Loki, because there's set pictures of female Loki and Loki can shapeshift. So that's what I think that is. But I don't know. I'm just ready to watch it. It's been really, really good. So I'm excited.
If I had to bet, I'm pretty sure it is a Lady Loki, because I saw a YouTube thumbnail. It was like a drawing or a fan art image of a Lady Loki. It was either that or the Enchantress, but I'm pretty sure it was just a Lady Loki, female Loki with the headdress thing. Variant Loki that TVA is hunting is probably a Lady Loki, but we'll see when we watch the episode.
I have no idea what this episode is going to be about whatsoever, and I don't even understand what you guys are talking about. This variance of Loki, and it could be Lady Loki and da-da-da. I had actually watched Jack's video just a little while ago and read the comments, and I didn't even understand.
You're not making any sense at all.
I just watch it for fun, and I was always proud of myself that I pretty much could follow, but you lost me there. So I don't even know what any of that's about, what that means. I mean, obviously I know what variant means, so a variant of Loki, but I don't know what it means in this sense, like what the variant of Loki is.
Yeah.
What's that even mean?
In the first episode, at some point, Mobius, who's played by Owen Wilson, you remember that, right? Mm-hmm. He says, it's towards the end, he tells Loki that the variant that's killing their Minutemen is, he says, it's actually you. So we don't see, we see the suspect at the end, but we can't see who they are. We just see the silhouette of the figure.
I remember that.
Well, so Mobius tells Loki, it's you that we're hunting. It is a Loki, we just don't know who this Loki is. Mm-hmm. We know and this episode is also titled The Variant. So we're likely going to learn who this version of Loki is. It's probably just a Loki from another timeline that's
So
not
it
the
might
sacred
not even be-
timeline. The Loki that we know looks like Tom Hiddleston is the Loki of the sacred timeline. There's probably many other timelines where he looks like Tom Hiddleston, but there's many other timelines where he's a girl.
He could
or
make
where
himself
he
look like a dog if he wanted to.
So
Yeah.
it could be a different character or actor playing.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
might not be Tom Hiddleston. It could
Probably a
be.
million different Lokis.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting then. I didn't follow that.
Just
so
like how Tobey Maguire is a different version of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's hard for me to understand at all, but I'm trying.
Yeah. Moving forward in the MCU, we're likely going to see many different versions of many of the characters that we know and love. So we might see a different Iron Man or
But
Tony
there-
Stark. We could see a different Captain America or Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I saw that on your comments, and so I was curious about that. So is this all on this timeline? This is all the variants are happening on this timeline, or could they be on other timelines?
Well, the TVA isn't on a particular isn't within a particular timeline. They exist outside of the universe.
So any of the
For the
timelines
multiverse.
could be any
Yeah,
other
this
timeline.
variant that's killing people in the TVA is a different Loki. We don't know what timeline he's from.
Okay. All
He,
right.
she.
Well, that was a good lesson for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'm going to try something new this week.
Stay
and-
awake.
Yeah, you took my punchline, but I'm going to watch the whole thing without closing my eyes.
Okay.
I just think I'm going to enjoy it more this way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I know we're pushing late here, but
Yeah, I can do it.
check back in at the end.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough talk. Let's watch the episode, Loki episode 2.
I like it.
Green and gold highlights. Outside. Some kind of Renaissance festival.
Let's move.
Like people see them, then when they leave, they set that charge. It says reset the timeline.
Like they fix whatever's gone wrong and then they erase themselves.
Slowly
Too much happening.
touched her right next to her eye. It did like kind of what Wanda does.
Harry Shores, dog Loki.
What happens when a Nexus event branches past Redline?
It's when the TVA can no longer reset the Nexus event.
Watch it. Where's your manners?
Which kind of Loki remains unknown.
No, the lesser kind, to be clear.
Not just looking for a time criminal, we're looking for a Loki, more than any other variant. And no two are alike, slight differences in appearances. Break into 2 teams, including myself and Professor Loki. How's the training is going to get you any closer to the timekeepers?
An audience with the timekeepers on the table.
Did you watch any of the training videos you were supposed to?
What are these? Reset charges prune the affected radius of a branched timeline. Well, watch the videos. It's on.
A Loki couldn't have gotten the jump on C20.
I think you underestimate that.
3 units until Redline.
If you leave this tent, you'll end up like them. We have a saying in Asgard, where there are wolf's ears, wolf's teeth are near. My teeth were sharp, but my ears even sharper. Time variance, authority, and the gods of Asgard, one and the same. You underestimate me, just as you underestimate this lesser Loki.
We need to look for C20.
But that's exactly what the variant wants you to do. Knowing what I now know about his tactics, I will need to speak to the timekeepers at once. They're in graver danger than we realized.
He's lying. Just playing games. There's no one out there.
I could tell when he said,
Yeah,
"We can speak to timekeepers at once."
he was a sharp kid.
Just bullshitting them.
I bet by the end of this show, that timeline's going to branch off a million different ways. And that's going to set off the multiverse.
Is it just me?
This variant is insubordinate, stubborn, unpredictable.
Understanding this Loki helps me get closer to the one we're chasing.
Loki is an evil, lying scourge.
Is that possible? It can change?
Not unless the timekeepers decree it. This is the last chance you're going to get with this Loki.
Great, that's all I'm gonna need.
You really believe in this variant?
Luckily, he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
Probably
That
wonder
was
what
the same
happened now
take
from
they
the
used
mission.
in the trailer.
Yeah.
Just shut up, please.
What happened to the guy down on the elevator who didn't like to talk? Remember him? I believe, stupidly, that insecure need for validation would motivate.
It's adorable that you think you could possibly manipulate me.
I see a scared little boy shivering in the cold, and you kind of feel bad for that ice front. But B, over each and every one of the various case files, and then give me your unique Loki perspective.
Same shot. I'm so curious if the TVA has anything to do with King the Conqueror.
Kang's confirmed to be an Ant-Man.
Don't tell her that.
Bye.
Gonna get your mom's attention when she's texting.
Yes. That's totally you.
What files pertaining to the creation of the TVA?
Those are classified.
Okay, what files can I have?
They're his.
Yeah, it's just his.
This Loki never saw Ragnarok.
Destruction of Asgard. Loki that died was.
Oh, this is a different one.
Yeah, he never experienced that. He's just seeing it's affecting him emotionally because he's seeing he had a part to play in that.
He's hiding in apocalypses. Ragnarok. Are you familiar?
Yes, the destruction of Asgard.
Your salad is Asgard.
No,
in this
it's
scenario.
not Asgard. That's
It's
my
a metaphor.
lunch.
Hang in.
I want that salad.
Push the Hulk off the Rainbow Bridge. It wouldn't go against the dictates of the timeline because
Because the apocalypse is supposed to destroy the whole place anyway.
Ragnarok, Surtur will destroy Asgard no matter what I do. Everything and everyone around you is destined for imminent destruction. Nothing that I say or do will matter. The variant could be hiding in the apocalypse. We wouldn't know.
You lure me out to the field and then you stab me in the back. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
I'd never do it again because it got old.
Volcano eruption in
Remember the
Pompeii.
shot in the trailer of him with an explosion behind him? It's like a gray smoke.
Yeah.
Probably a volcano.
This is the town where this entire town is buried in ash.
Bird noises.
Hey, I've heard noises like some like whooshing noises. Okay. Zero variance energy, no branching in the timeline.
If it were me, this is where I would hide.
Most things in history are kind of dumb. There was a beautiful union of form and function. The jet ski.
The ending of Loki
This
better be
helps
Mobius
remind me of what
writing
we're
for
fighting
jet
for.
ski.
I don't get hung up on believe, not believe. I just accept what is.
3 magic lizards
Timekeepers.
created the TVA. Everything is written. Past, present, future. There's no such thing as free will. Here at the TVA, we're the only ones who are actually free.
Toiling away in their chamber, untangling the epilogue.
No one bad is ever truly bad, and no one good is ever truly good.
Marion left something behind at an old crime scene.
Kaboom. What's that?
Candy. Had candy on Asgard?
Grapes, nuts.
That's so better. Louis was only sold regionally on Earth from 2047 to 2051. Cross-reference that with every apocalyptic event.
That's right.
Alabama 2050. You're gonna take my job if I'm not careful. I can handle him. Trust me, this is where we get our guy.
There's not much I can do if it doesn't work out.
For all time.
Absolutely not.
Daggers.
Rock's heart is. He could be hiding anywhere. It should be considered a cost. So stay alert.
Oh yeah, this is the future.
To the future!
I wonder if Marty and Doc are here.
You go with D90, he stays with me.
What are you talking? He's under my supervision.
You can trust me. I understand. I have to earn that.
I can't tell if
Why
he's
is it
serious
people
or
you
not.
can't trust?
Always watching them.
Whatever that timer's for.
What are you doing?
Shopping for plants.
Could that be you?
Yes, baby.
Yeah.
You're the
Oh,
fool the
it's-
TVA brought in to hunt me down.
Oh my gosh, it's her? Yeah.
If anyone's anyone, you're me.
These people are scared.
Oh, she, the girl was taken.
Yeah, at the beginning. She's transferring herself into.
Loki, that's Loki transfer. Like,
That's weird. Yeah, that's a power he doesn't have. I don't think.
I have an offer for you, that's why I found you. I'm going to overthrow the timekeepers. I could use a qualified lieutenant.
You can call me branding.
God, now I understand why forefathers are so annoying. Listen, enough with your games. I've been trying to help you.
That's one of the charges.
Timekeepers, where they are. I've given away how to find them.
I found your hiding place like that. I'd say that makes me the superior of you.
For helping me stall for time. You really do love to hear yourself talk.
Stop hiding! I have shit to do. What do you want from me? What is this about?
This isn't about you.
Oh man.
Somebody just found the sacred timeline.
He wants to take on that other Loki though.
Yeah. Did you stay awake?
About 98, 99% awake.
That's good, yeah.
I know I dozed off like for just a few seconds here and there. I go, oop, I'm back.
Next week, we'll promise to watch it earlier. That episode was really good. I personally thought it was a notch better than the first one. Not that the first episode was bad, but the content is just ramping up as the show goes on. So I thought it was a really good second episode. Loki is actually willing to help, but the line that the one lady who's above Mobius, the one who was asking Loki, how do you plead in the first episode, she says Loki is stubborn, insubordinate, and variable. I think the third word she said was variable, but stubborn and insubordinate. How they show it in this episode is that you can't always tell where his allegiance actually is. Like in some scenes he really seems and sounds like he's wanting to truly help the TVA with their mission, but then it's revealed in other scenes that no, he's kind of more out for himself. So I think he's really kind of somewhere in the middle between those two opposite ends, but we'll see how the show ends up. I think by the end he's going to be more so on the side of that good person that he became right before he died in Infinity War. So that's what I hope to see from Loki, because I think he truly is a good person at the end of the day, but it takes a lot for him to get there. TVA and Council of Kings connection. So I don't think that the Timekeepers are the Council of Kings per se, also because they're described as space lizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
I know the Council of Kings and Kang the Conqueror from Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes show, cartoon that used to be on. But I know Kang the Conqueror and the Council of Kings have to do with time and different timelines, different realities. So I'm just wondering if there's some connection between the TVA and Kang or the Council of Kings and how that's going to play into things. Because as Jake said, we know that Kang is confirmed to be in the Ant-Man Quantumania movie. So it's just interesting. It's great seeing Loki's smarts. That's just as much an ability and power of his as is his magic and anything else is his brain. The fact he figures out that it's the apocalyptic events, that's where the variant is hiding. Which makes sense that if everybody's going to die in this city, this timeline anyway, yeah, he can do whatever he wants there without a branch being, a nexus event being created. When Mobius was speaking with Loki and he says, accept what is. I don't even know why that resonates with me, but for some reason it does. Yeah, I can see my mom, she wrote it down too. I have to go back and listen again to exactly what they were talking about within the scene, but just that nature or that mindset of accept what is. Don't get hung up on the past or what can happen in the future. Accept where you are now. Accept what you are now and move. Yeah, live in the present. So I thought that was very meaningful, kind of meaningful piece of advice for Loki to hear. At the very end, when Loki takes off through the TVA portal, whatever you want to call it, I'm wondering, is he going after her to stop her, or is he going to join her? You don't know. It's again one of those things of, you can't tell, is he, I'm laughing because I guess I was saying whatever she wrote down. But Yeah, you don't know where his allegiance lies at this point. You don't know, is he going to join her or is he going to stop her? I think by the end of the show, or possibly past this show within further installments in the MCU, that Loki's eventually going to get, this version of Loki is going to hopefully reunite with Thor and become that good person. Maybe not a hero, but that good person.
That first trailer, he says, I'm going to burn this place to the ground, and that seems like that's what he wants to do, get overthrow the TVA. Maybe by the end of the show, he's successful, and he burns them down, or does something that makes them unable to go out and stop variants. They're unable to go and stop the timelines. So this in turn causes a multiverse of madness, a bunch of different branches, timelines happening. And that's what causes the other Spider-Man to show up in Spider-Man 3. Because, I mean, it doesn't, like, maybe when this happens, a branch happens, and that's when Toby grows up, because time is irrelevant. Like, they could branch off at any point in time. That's what causes all these other versions of superheroes, is what happens in the show. So that in turn causes a multiverse of madness, and that's what makes, like, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield able to show up, and there's no TVA coming to stop them. Because they would be a variant if they showed up.
Yeah.
There's no TVA able to stop them because Loki's burning the place to the ground. And that's just part of all the madness that happens in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the Spider-Man in the Sacred Timeline.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
And Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man don't really exist until that Sacred Timeline is messed up and a multiverse is formed. So maybe Loki burns this place down, and then in 1970, this other Spider-Man is born in a different timeline, which is Tobey Maguire, and a different Spider-Man is born, Andrew Garfield. And they live out their lives in all these different timelines that were formed because Loki burned down the TVA.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, my understanding of it is that Tom Holland is the Spider-Man of the Sacred Timeline, but then when the TVA is messed up, all these different Spider-Men. Or I don't know, maybe it's because in the show they were showing all different versions of Loki,
Yeah,
so
maybe.
I don't know.
What I'm kind of thinking is maybe
So
what's happening now, because of the female Loki, at least what she did is creating all these Nexus events, these different timelines branching off. Maybe Loki has a part to play in that, like getting worse, or I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe he stops it, but then does something at the end that breaks it again.
So I'm sure, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tom Holland isn't part of this. It's really hard to understand, and I'm sure they'll explain it. But I think this has some kind of connection to that.
Yeah, it makes sense that if whatever happens at the end of this, if it has connections to like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and all that, that's how the different Spider-Men that we know are going to come into play. And if there is no TVA to stop them or prevent them from coming into play, then yeah, it's going to come down to Doctor Strange to fix everything. He's going to be the only one capable of fixing things and putting things back where they belong. And maybe Wanda will be helping him. So it'll be interesting to watch. Okay, do we steal too much of your stuff?
Yeah, so I had written down that I still love Owen. That's how do you say
Mobius.
It? Mobius.
Yeah.
I wrote that in parentheses. I didn't know how to pronounce it. Mobius. I still love Mobius.
Scarlett, we're recording. Yeah.
Loki and Mobius are just great together.
Yeah.
They are great together. My main thing that I wrote was Mobius's quote, well, he said a lot, but what stood out to me was that I just accept what is. And I wrote, good advice.
Yeah.
And Jack stole my thunder. He already said that, but I'm actually proud of him that he picked up on that because I agree with it. And I thought, man, we can apply that to our
everyday life.
The other thing you stole my thunder, as I said, it's hard to tell at the end if Loki's still bad or has some good in him. I mean, he always did have, even though he was bad, he always did have some good in him, though. So, is he going after the other Loki to, one, catch her and do the right thing, or two, to want help from her, like to team up together. Yeah. So you don't know which Loki you're going to get, because, you know, even though Loki on the original timeline could be a trickster and cause problems and cause a lot of issues, but then he would turn around and do something nice. So it was just this back and forth, this fine line of back and forth. And it seems like he's maybe doing that now. So it's hard to tell which way. Because he said, he already asked her, can we join forces?
Join me.
And overthrow the timekeepers, right?
Yeah.
Did he say that at the end?
That's what he said.
But
That's what he's doing.
Did he mean that to her, or is he trying to trick her? You don't know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's out for himself, and he could be trying to trick timekeepers like Mobius and her, because he has this agenda. So he's not really loyal to anybody at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
One thing that I've thought about after watching the first 2 episodes is that anything that Loki says, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because you never know where his true intentions are, or what he's really thinking or planning. But I think from this first and second episode that when you see him seeing or learning something about his family, something with him and Thor, or him and Odin, so that was in the first episodes when he clearly was emotional when he saw the future events of himself, and like Thor forgiving him, when Odin passes away and he says, "I love you," that affects him emotionally. And then in this episode, when he reads the report from his file about Asgard's apocalyptic destruction, it's in his file, so he knows he had something to do with it, and he got kind of teary-eyed, I would say. The reason why I think at the end of the day that he really is a good person is because that clearly emotionally affects him.
Because if he wasn't
because he cares about those people at the end of the day. He doesn't want to show it, but he does care about them.
Or otherwise he wouldn't have had any reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
And he does have a reaction when he sees, even last week, the death of his mother, when he saw that he and Thor were on better terms. Like Thor forgave him, he seemed happy. So
yeah,
I think he does have heart.
Yeah.
It's just
deep down.
Right.
It's like the Grinch. I don't even remember where I was going with that, but you don't know what his reasoning is for running through the portal after her, if he's going to join her or take her down.
Right, that's exactly
But I think by the end, even if it's not in this show, but in another movie down the road, or if it's in the 4th Thor movie, I think he's going to come around to be a good person again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're awake for 98%, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, I don't have any more plot details or points that you guys haven't already covered. It was more interesting this time. Maybe because I did stay awake, or maybe I stayed awake because it was more interesting. Who knows? But I did just sitting here after the show was over have one observation. The TVA is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Time Variance Authority.
Yep.
And it's controlling the flow of time, right?
Yeah.
And it's a big, like, I think of it as a government bureaucratic program.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of, there was a TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, years ago, after the Depression, wasn't it? It was a government program that was building dams. I think it was mainly to create jobs, but it was controlling the flow of water, a life-giving force.
Wow.
The Time Variance Authority is controlling the flow of time, which is like a life-giving force too.
I wonder when the TVA in the comics was created, if that's just a random coincidence, or if the name, the TVA, had anything to do with that event, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, if it was just a simple coincidence, or if they just chose that name because of that, controlling the flow of something. That's all.
That's wraps discussion for episode 2. I thought it was really good. We all thought it was really good. I have to rewatch these episodes again because it's mind meddling since it has to do with time. And I definitely want to watch that Accept What Is scene again, because I think that was really deep, and I need to hear again what he said beyond just the Accept What Is. It was really good. I can't wait to watch episode 3. Want to know more about the female Loki, what her goals are, because she says that it's not about you to the sacred timeline Loki. That's another point to talk about too, is that she's not the sacred timeline Loki. Tom Hiddleston is. So what is she playing at? She must know things, or she at least knows about the TVA and that she's not supposed to exist. So they're trying to wipe her out. She wants to stick around, obviously. So yeah, very interesting. I really hope that we get to see Thor and Loki reunite at some point, even if it's not in this show. But yeah, it's very good. Can't wait to watch episode 3 next week. Like the video if you enjoyed. Let us know what you think down in the comment section. Any ideas or opinions you have, tell us what you think about what we thought. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Go check out our other reaction series to WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as all the trailer reactions. And click that notification bell so every time we put out a new video, you'll know about it. That being said, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your night or day wherever you are. See you next week for episode 3.
He wrapped it up.
It's very small. Can you make bird noises? Bird noises? Yeah, bird noises. Like whooshing noises. Loki! Loki! Nothing matters! Nothing has any consequence!